Hi everyone, welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. I hope you guys can hear me okay. If you guys just want to give me a thumbs up or something just to let me know you can hear me, that would be great. Perfect. Thank you, Nelson. I have opened the chat today because we are a small group. So if you guys have any questions, just feel free to leave it in the chat. You guys should be able to put your questions in or comments or whatever you need to do. Hi, Martha, welcome in. If you guys want to let me know where you're watching from, that'd be great too. But it is currently 9 a.m. here. Our session today will be relatively kind of to the point, but also remember that this is a visa prep session. And so if you have any questions, I think now is a great time to ask them. So leave it in the chat or the Q&A box, whatever is convenient for you. But I rely a lot on you during our visa prep sessions to let me know what you're thinking, what questions you have. So just don't hesitate to put them in the chat. And usually, when it's a smaller group, like right now, I do tend to look at the chat a lot more than I would if it was a larger group. So again, any questions, just leave it in the chat. But for those that don't know me, I feel like I see a few familiar names, but for those that don't know me, my name is PJ Gurung. I am the Assistant Director for Strategic Communications and Recruitment at the Carney International Center. A lot of my work centers around doing pre-arrival sessions like these, so anything about visa session, getting to Mankato, all of our communications, most of our communications, I should say. Violet will join me here in just a second, but any communications you get about our WhatsApp group or about getting your I-20, things like that, it's usually from me. Um, and I was an international student before, so I am originally from Nepal. And I completed my undergraduate degree and my master's degree at Minnesota State Mankato. So I went to school here. And now I work full time at the Carney International Center. So it's kind of been a, long time coming of me kind of just being here as an international student and where I am now. So, hi, Violet. Welcome in. Your hair looks nice. Do you have it in a bun?
Yeah, I got a little clip today.
I was just kind of telling kind of the students a little bit about myself. And this is actually perfect timing. So if you wanted to give a brief introduction before we get started.
Sure, yeah. So hi everyone. My name is Violet Kind. I'm the International Enrollment Coordinator here at the Carney International Center. My job is basically to help you get through the process of getting here. So if you have any questions along the way, a lot of times it's me responding or my international enrollment assistant. And yeah, I'm here to help and I'm excited to be here today.
Just out of curiosity, I am curious. Actually, Violet, can you hear me okay? Is my volume fine?
Yep.
There's just a lot of background noise where I am, so I'm like, I should
Oh
have put
yeah,
my headphones on,
can't
but
hear it at all.
amazing. But I was just curious if the students that are watching already have a visa appointment coming up. If you guys want to let us know in the chat, just so we also kind of know that there are students that have a visa appointment coming up. I think that would be really helpful. Um, just because it's spring and I know that students have been like slowly getting appointments. So if you guys want to let us know, that's always helpful. Okay. With that, I am live on YouTube, Violet. I did message the WhatsApp group for spring, and it looks like some of them didn't know that we were doing this. So I did direct them over to YouTube. So
Okay,
they might
great.
have questions there. Actually,
All
I'm gonna
right.
message the group. I'll say we will be monitoring the chat on YouTube as well. Okay. I mean, if they're watching, they probably also see this. So anyway, alrighty. So visa prep. Okay. All right. So just for today, since it's just a visa prep session, it's going to be a really straightforward agenda. Like I said in the beginning, I do rely a lot on you guys' feedback and questions for visa prep sessions. A lot of what me and Violet will do is give you like a base and a framework of what to expect during visa prep and how to answer your questions. But if you have more specific questions, now is a really good time because you have both of us here. Um, And I will also share a little bit about what my visa interview experience was like. And honestly, it's not as dramatic as it sounds when I say that. It was a very quick interview, and we'll talk a little bit about that as well. But today we're going to talk about how to pay your CVIS I-901 fee, how to schedule your visa interview, of course, and then preparing for your visa interview. And even for that, we have a lot of different subtopics that we'll talk about. Okay, for those that are here watching already, I'm going to assume that you guys already have your I-20. So once you have your I-20, it's the first step after receiving your I-20 is to pay the CVIS I-901 fee. The CVIS I-901 fee is a 12-month payment. So if you pay it now, it is valid until, again, another, next October, if you're paying it now. So it is valid for 12 months, which if for some reason you don't get your visa this time around for the spring and you're going to defer to the fall 26 term, you don't have to pay the CVIS I-901 fee again, which is really good because it is, again, a $350 payment, which is a high sum of money. So we totally understand. The few things to remember when you are paying the CVIS I-901 fee is once you get your I-20, on the top section, you'll see your CVIS ID number. That is unique to you and it needs to be put in exactly as it appears on your form I-20. So just make sure you're like double and triple checking as you're paying this. Um, Once you've paid the $350 and you get the receipt, I highly encourage you to take a screenshot, download it to your computer, and save it and keep it in a safe location. You are going to need it when you go to your visa interview. So once you've paid it, don't just X out, just remember to download and save it or take a screenshot. But that is going to be important for you to do. The CVIS I-901 fee, in its essence, is what you're paying. The CVIS I-901 fee is what's paying, saying that it tracks you as you're a student in the US. So from the time you pay this and the time you graduate, it feeds into CVIS and it lets the US government know exactly what you're doing, what university you're at, and all of that. So that's exactly what the CVIS 901 fee is for. You're not paying us, the university, you're paying the government. So just to quickly also say that we're not taking that amount. Now, once you've paid your CVIS I-901 fee, the second step is going to be scheduling your visa interview. There's a couple steps involved with scheduling your US interview. Um, the first step is, again, looking for a US embassy or consulate near you. You have to complete the DS-160 online application. You'll see a screenshot of what it looks like on the screen right now. And there's also a link on the screen that you'd use if you want to. You can take a screenshot of this page in order to get to that page. Make sure that you're double checking that it is the authentic site and it's not a scam website because sometimes that can happen, which is why we put the screenshot on the screen for you. But this DS-160 is going to be the form that you first fill out before you pay your visa fee. The DS-160 takes about at least 90 minutes to complete. And so if you are going to be, sitting down to fill out the DS-160, we highly encourage you to be in a space where you have a good Wi-Fi and you're on your laptop because it's going to be the easiest for you to do this. Just be in a quiet place as well, because there's a lot of questions that you have to answer that might sound a little tricky if you're not reading it correctly. So make sure you're in a quiet space with good Wi-Fi, good and consistent Wi-Fi, I should say. Before you even start your DS-160, though, you do want to prepare a photo before you fill out the application. And the photo requirements can be found on the website, but they're very similar to getting a passport photo. So the requirements are very similar to getting a passport size photo. As you're filling out the DS-160, this is a question that I've gotten a lot, and I'm sure Violet has as well, is, hey, I got to this section where it says US point of contact, but I don't know anybody in the US. What do I put down? And it does stump a lot of our students. What you see on the screen is exactly what you're going to want to put down. So for your contact person section, you're going to choose do not know. Do not put a name down. Do not put Violet's name down. Do not put my name down. And the reason being is, just for example, you're at the port of entry and they want to reach out to someone at our university and you have my name, but I'm not in the office. I'm not going to be able to answer that call for you. So we encourage you to say do not know so that if I'm not here, someone in our team or in the office is able to get to the phone call. And especially if it's a really pressing matter, we just want to make sure that you have support when you need it. So contact person, always choose do not know. Don't put a name. Organization name, Minnesota State University Mankato, of course. Relationship to you, school official, and our address, you want to put down exactly as you see on the screen. Our office number is also listed there, and our international@mnsu.edu email is also listed, which again, just not even encourage, I want you to put that down. Alrighty. As you're filling out the DS-160 form, you'll also get to a section where it says social media, where you're basically asked to list social media platforms you have used within the last 5 years. So underneath, you'll see, as you see on the screen here, this is what it's going to look like. Be sure to list all of your social media accounts truthfully on your DS-160 form. Embassies and consulates are using an automated system to locate your accounts and review your posts. And so before you go to your interview, just make sure that all of those social media accounts, so whether it's Facebook, Instagram, is set to public so that those can be reviewed once you're done with your visa interview. Because your application, after you're done with your visa, it's going to go through a social media vetting process. That is why you're listing all of your social media accounts on the DS-160 form. There is options for literally everything here. So Tumblr, Reddit, everything that you've used in the past 5 years, put it down. And just make sure before you go to the interview, everything is set to public until, after you've gone to your visa to take your passport, until you get confirmation that you can pick up your passport, just keep your accounts public. Alrighty. So after all of that, you're going to pay actually. I'm going to go back. Once you've submitted the DS-160, take a screenshot as well and download the confirmation page. So once you've submitted your DS-160, you get to the confirmation page. Make sure you download it and save it on your computer. Once you do that, you can go ahead and go to your embassy website and pay that $185 visa fee. Unfortunately, if you go to your visa interview and you get denied, for your next visa interview, you have to pay another $185 fee. Unlike the SEVIS I-901 fee, which is valid for 1 year, the visa fee you're paying for each visa interview. Hopefully, all of you guys watching are able to get your visa right away your first try, which is why we're doing these sessions for you. But just in case you have to go back again, you have to fill out a new DS-160 form and then pay that $185 fee again. Great. If you guys have any questions, again, just leave it in the chat and either Violet or I can get to them. Preparing for your visa interview. So basically, to sum it up, you have your I-20 at this point, which is printed and signed. Make sure you sign your I-20 and date it. You have your passport with you, obviously. You've paid the SEVIS I-901 fee and you have the receipt, your visa application fee payment receipt. So once you pay the $185 and you get the confirmation page, also save it because you're going to want to print that as well. Your photo for visa, so if your upload photos on the DS-160 or if you have extras because you took it for the DS-160 and you have the copies, just take it with you. Totally okay to do that. If they don't ask for it, that's fine. But if they do, you already have it with you. Admission letter from MSU. If for some reason you're not able to access your admissions letter or something's happened and you were able to access and you're not able to access it any longer, please email us so we can fix that for you so you can download and print that. Bank statement from your sponsor. So when you submitted your I-20 request, who did you put down as your sponsor and the bank statements? Academic transcripts, so your high school transcripts, if you're transferring from a university in your home country, bring those with you. Proof of English proficiency, so did you take TOEFL, IELTS, Duolingo, whatever it is, take a copy of your results with you. And if you have any documentation of ties to your home country, and we'll explore this a little bit more as we get to the next few slides, but these are what you're going to want printed with you. I always encourage students to have everything in a folder and tagged. So I just grab one of those sticky tabs with that kind of come out at the top and you can write down exactly what it is. I take paper clips and section off each thing and then tag it so I know exactly what it is. I would keep your I-20 and passport at the top of all of your documents because that's what they're going to ask for first. But you also want to make sure that you know exactly where you're filing everything and you know exactly which one is what. Because you don't want to be fumbling in between interviews. Because again, the interviews are generally 1 to 3 minutes. So you don't have a lot of time and you don't want to be spending a lot of time shuffling through things at that point. These are a few resources that we do recommend if you're like looking to prepare for your interview. Argo Visa has a YouTube account with a couple playlists with, again, visa interview tips and tricks. And then they also have a few questions and answers. So go to Argo Visa, it's a free resource. The US Department of State, you can visit the website that's linked on the screen right now, and you can also look at that. There's some really good tips for you as well to prepare for your visa interview. NAFSA's top 10 visa points to remember, honestly, is a really, really, really good like read. It's not very long, but it hits a lot of different points of things to remember as you're preparing your answers for your interview and thinking about your answers for your interview. We always say don't memorize your answers. It's very obvious when you do, and you can tell when an answer is memorized, so don't do that. Um, and we'll talk a little bit about how you can do that and how you can start preparing for it. The other resource that we provide through the Carney International Center is free visa prep sessions that are more one-on-one with current students, current international students who have gone through the visa process as well. So if you go to the link that's on the screen right now, you are able to book some slots. We have a couple slots open each week that you can book out for. And then these visa prep sessions are 30 minutes long with current international students, like I said before, where they will give you tips, advice. They'll talk to you about what their visa interview was like. And then they will also ask you questions and listen to your answers and give you feedback on those answers that you provide. So this is a free resource that we always encourage students to book and look out for because it's not a lot of other places that do this. So since this exists, we just want you to use it. I do want to say though, if you are going to book a slot, please show up for the slot because we do have our students take the time out of their day to set up for the meeting, get set up, get situated. And so we want to make sure that you're also showing up for those sessions that you're booked out for. So it's a win-win situation for not only the current student that's taking time out of their day to help you, but also you because you're also learning something from it. So if you've booked or like registered for something, just make sure it's on your calendar and you have a reminder. All right. If you recall earlier, I talked about documentation to your home country. So if you have anything concrete, like in a paper format or documents or legal paperwork that really shows it, that's amazing. You can take it with you. But essentially, visa officers, when they're interviewing you by thinking that you're not going to want to return back to your home country after you're done with your visa interview. I mean, sorry, after you're done with your education in the US. So your job is to convince the visa officer that yes, you are going to return to your home country after you graduate because that's why you're coming to the US is to get your degree, right? So visa officers operate in that sense of looking at you as someone that will likely not return. So your job is to convince them that you are going to return. Most of the time, visa officers are not going to ask you about this directly. They're not going to say, well, why do you want to come back? They're not always going to ask that. So everything that you answer needs to point to your intent to return. Um, your F1 visa is a non-immigrant visa. Again, keyword non-immigrant, which means you're here in the country in the US for a specific purpose, for a specific time frame, and that's all that you're here to do is you're here to study, get your degree, and return home. So you really need to be able to demonstrate that you are going to return to your home country after you're done with your degree. So a few of the reasons that you can look at for ties to your home country is family and friends. So do you have a family business that you're coming back to? Are you like the sole you're the only child and you need to come back and take care of your family. These are all these are all valid reasons that you need to bring up. Do you have a job offer already, or do you have family members that operate a business that you're getting your degree and you're coming back to work in the family business? Are you coming back to a job offer already? Are you going to be continuing education in returning to your home country and continuing your education there? Are you going to start a business? These are all really valid reasons, but you also really, anytime students ask me, like, hey, what should I say about this? What should I say about that? I always say it's very individual. It's very specific to you and your life story and what you want to do out of your life. You could probably go online and just be like, oh, how should I answer this question? You can probably get like a draft or a answer that you can memorize, but that's not really an answer that you've created. And when we've done interviews, like Violet can definitely attest to it as well, when we've done other kinds of interviews and students come in and answer and you can tell it's memorized, you can really tell it's memorized. Um, so what I recommend you doing is as you're thinking about your interview that's coming up, sit down with a paper and pen, and really think about A, why is it that you want to come to the US? Is it because like you want to, or is it because your family's pressuring you to? What is it? Your degree. If you're doing computer science, is it because you're just following everyone and doing that, or is it because you really want to do it? Because that's very important. You want to do a program that you're interested in. Um, Career-wise, what do you want to do after you graduate? Do you want to come back home? Which you should want to come back home, right? Because this is an F1 um, visa. It's not an immigrant visa. It's very different. So think about and reflect, really reflect on not only the university you've chosen, so Minnesota State Mankato. Why did you pick our university? If you have friends here and they told you to come here, that's a very valid answer. I would honestly answer that. I wouldn't memorize a different answer that I don't relate to. I would actually say, yeah, I have friends there that I went to high school with. They said it's a really good university and I want to go there because they said it's a good university and also because then I'll have a community there. Those are all really valid answers. Um, so really sit down and think about why you're doing this instead of just being like, well, this is what everybody does, so I'm gonna do this, which in some instances is true. But also, like, what do you want out of this experience is very important. So, you need to give concrete examples and you need to identify your ties before the interview. Don't go into it and say, actually, I'm just gonna make an answer on the spot. Don't do that because then you're gonna start like stuttering, and then it just shows that you're not confident. The biggest thing to remember for your visa interview is being calm and confident. When you're calm and when you're calm and confident, it really shows through in your answers as well because you're not fumbling through your words as much. If you're worried about like speaking English. So if English is not your first language and you're worried about how you're going to sound, what I personally did for my interview is I would record my answers on my phone and then I would listen back to it. So every time I've done this visa prep session, this is the advice that I've given each time because that's what I did. If you have family members that can actually listen to your answers and give you feedback, that's even better because you have a live person kind of telling you, but because I didn't have anybody to kind of do that for me, or I was just too embarrassed to ask, I just recorded myself and I would listen to myself. So when I listened back to my answers, I would think about things like, am I using ums and uhs a lot? Doesn't make you sound confident. Am I repeating the same thing over and over? Is my answer longer than 30 seconds for a question that doesn't need to be more than 30 seconds? Because if they ask you, who's your sponsor, you can just say it's my father. You don't have to go into and deep dive into the whole family tree and talk about everything. That's not necessary because the question was, who's your sponsor? Um, so identifying that and also listening back to your answers and rehearsing is good. But again, don't memorize your answers because again, it's very, very obvious when you do. Any advice from you, Violet? I feel like I've
No, I think you
been on a
covered that
tangent.
really well.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, I think just plan on the interview being really short, but there's a lot of different like avenues that the visa officer could go down based on what they're seeing about you prior to the interview and what they get from you at the interview. So, um, just kind of be prepared for anything and be as confident and calm, like PJ said, as you can be during the interview. And I think it's a really great idea, again, to, utilize our visa prep sessions that we have with students here because they're used to coaching students through this. And that's, it's a free option for you. So definitely take advantage of that. And then also, like PJ suggested, working with a friend or family member that you can trust to give you honest feedback. That's going to be really helpful, and give you some time to actually practice trying to stay calm because, obviously you're going to have a lot of feelings about this. You really want to come and study. So, yeah, just take advantage of the resources, practice as much as you can, but not in a way that ends up being you sounding totally, rehearsed, like you're just memorizing and repeating, things that you've said over and over again. It needs to be genuine.
I was actually talking to a student recently whose visa was denied, and when their visa was denied, the officer basically says, "Hey, your answer sounds scripted, which is why I'm denying your visa." So we're not just saying it to say it, it actually happens. Um, and I asked him, like, well, what was your answer? Because I'm kind of curious. Because he said, like, up until that question that was asked, it was going really well because they were having a conversation. It was more of a yeah, this and that, and they were actually basing off of each other's answers. And so it was going really well, and he thought he was going to get his visa. But then the visa officer asked, "Well, why this university?" And apparently, that person, the student that I talked to, was like, he started off was like, "Yeah, this is one of the oldest universities in the U.S." Doesn't matter that it's the oldest university in the U.S. Realistically, does
Yeah.
it? So when you start off with like, yeah, this is one of the oldest universities in the US, which is why I want to go, that makes
Yeah.
no sense.
That's
What
like
about,
a lot of times we'll hear students sound like they've just like read it straight through like an AI GPT or something like that. Like it doesn't sound like it's coming from you. Like, and that's why PJ said you need to sit down with a notebook and figure out why you yourself are actually doing this, not what, what answer sounds, fancy and whatever, but it needs to sound genuine. Like, you can't just have five answers that sound like you and then suddenly one that sounds like something you read on Wikipedia. So,
yeah, and like also, that's a really good point is yeah, ChatGPT and stuff like that. When you use AI, they give you words that you wouldn't use in a normal conversation, which is something that we pick up on right away, which is why Violet and I pick up on it right away, because they'll use this really big word that people don't use in a normal conversation. So you can tell, because right off the bat, I mean, granted, there might be some students that just love to read and have a really big vocabulary, but even students like that, when they use big words, it flows with the conversation. You can't just drop in a big word and then the rest is just you can tell. So, and then I think a student said they left a question on YouTube.
yes. So we have a couple of questions here.
Oh,
Let's see. So my appointment is on October 16th, and I would like you to talk about how to prepare so I can be ready. Well, that's kind of
we're
what
doing
all
it.
of this webinar is about. So I hope you find something helpful. Definitely go schedule one of those visa prep sessions with one of our
Mhm.
students. Again, free option. You have nothing to lose. So definitely do that. And then somebody else asked, my sponsor is a US company. How is that going to go?
When you
And then
say,
somebody
I think I need more clarification. Are you a master's student, undergrad? Why are they sponsoring you? I think if you give us don't disclose all of your information, of course, but if you kind of want to let us know a little bit about why a US company is sponsoring you, I think that would be really helpful for us to give you feedback. I think, okay, we do have a chat and on Zoom. What if the VO wants to know whether your father can pay for your remaining fees? Isn't it advisable for you to know the visa officer know that he is capable of paying. So yes, I think this is because of what I said earlier about, well, who's your sponsor? Um, you can say, yeah, my father is my sponsor. He's a businessman. If they want clarifying questions, visa officers will usually ask you clarifying questions. If you feel that it would be best for you to say, yeah, my dad is my sponsor, I'm just using dad as an example. It could be anybody, right? It could be your uncle, your aunt. But if it's your dad, for example, you could say, yeah, my dad is my sponsor. He's a businessman and he earns about this, which is how he can pay for my tuition. The reason why I say answer directly to the point is because you want to keep your answers to 30 seconds or less. When you go into a tangent, what you mean to say initially is lost because you've spoken for a minute and a half. So, what you were trying to say about, yeah, my dad being a sponsor and him being a businessman and earning X amount of money, suddenly you're talking about everything else, and then that's not relevant. So, the visa officer is going to lose track of what your answer actually was because you're talking about a lot of stuff, which is why, again, Violet and I are saying like practicing is key. So, practice if you can squeeze your answer in that includes how much he earns, how he's able to pay for your fees, and what he does in like a 30 to 40-second spiel. That's perfect because it's not too long. You don't lose your attention span. Um, that's what we mean. Hopefully that answers your question, Nelson. But again, if you have clarifying ones, please let us know. We'll do our best to answer them.
Yes, and then we did have a response on YouTube about the US sponsor, and they are an undergrad student, and the company is a friend of their father's.
A friend of their father's.
Yes.
Oh, yes. I think being honest and upfront about why that person is sponsoring you versus your family is good because it's okay that your sponsor is not your father or your mother or whoever in your family. Um, but I think in your case, what's going to be really important is demonstrating why they're willing to pay for you because they're just a family friend most of the time. Like, and it's a lot of money that they're sponsoring and paying for you. So I think for you, the key is going to be answering why they're willing to sponsor for you and pay for your education. Please add on to whatever I say, Violet, if you need to.
Yeah, no, I think that's good. And then somebody else is asking for the Zoom link on there. Do we share those on YouTube?
Zoom link on. Oh, for this one?
Hmm.
Yeah, we can share it in the chat, but also
Okay.
for those that are watching on YouTube because you hadn't seen our Zoom registrations, you have been emailed the all of the Zoom registrations and the calendar, which I will show at the end of the session. You've been emailed that to your personal email and also your student email. So I really recommend that you go there and get that calendar and register for each of our webinars that you're interested in. It's also on the KIC portal. Okay. Few questions that we've seen. Yes, so these are some of a few of the questions we recommend you practicing your answers for. Why do you want to study in the US and at this university? What are your academic goals in the US? Did you apply to any other schools? If you did, be honest. They can tell. Don't lie about it. There's no reason to lie. Who will be paying for your studies? Again, we've been talking about sponsors. Going to want to say who your sponsor is. You will be taking bank statements that are your sponsor, so be honest. Ties to your home country. What is your motivation to return after completing your education? These are some of the questions that we encourage you to practice. Again, we're not guaranteeing that you're going to get asked any or all of these questions. You might get asked one or two from here and something that we haven't put down. We don't know. We're not visa officers, obviously, but these are just a few that you can kind of start basing your answers off of. Feel free to take a screenshot, but also know that we are live on YouTube as well, so you can always rewatch this at a later time. Date of your visa interview. Very important day, also very scary. So I totally get it. I remember being so nervous. I couldn't sleep that well, which is not good. So you want to get enough sleep for your visa interview. Remember to take all of the documents that we mentioned earlier, which is all of these. You're not allowed to take technology in. So your phones, your, I would honestly leave it outside with your family or friend, whoever's going with you, if possible. Um, because again, you're not allowed to take it inside through security. So the first thing you're going to do is get in line, go through security, wait at a waiting area, and then you get called to your interview. It depends on obviously where you're doing it, but at least in Nepal, in Kathmandu, um, you kind of go through security. There's a little section in the middle where you all sit down and wait to get called into the building where you do your interview, and then you're kind of in line in that room too. So you're actually going to be seeing people doing their interviews. It's very, very, very compelling where like you might be nosy and want to hear what answers everybody's giving and you want to know what everybody's doing. Totally up to you, but I feel like if you're seeing a lot of students get denied, it might affect your confidence. So honestly, I would try not to listen if possible. Sometimes it's not possible because you're just so close to the windows. But try and not take it to your head. Focus on yourself and your interview. It's hard, of course, because it's a really big day, but try not to if you're able to. Alrighty. Okay. You're going to leave technology outside, so don't take your laptop with you. There's no reason for you to take it. Leave it at home. You're going to have everything printed off with you anyway, so just have those ready. Keep your laptop at home if you don't need it. Or if you have like a family friend or like family member or friends coming, you can leave it with them just in case. But also your phone, honestly, I would leave outside with them because you're not able to take it through security anyway, so what's the point, you know? Your interview will be in English, which is why, again, I encourage you to record your answer and listen back on your answer so that you can kind of continue to practice and get better at your answers. The visa interview is like you see on the screen is going to look very similar to this. It's at a stand-up window. Here you go. The interview will be at a stand-up visa window. You want to have your documents organized and give them to the consular officer when they ask for it. Dress for success. What we mean by dress for success is don't wear ripped jeans, don't wear crop tops, don't wear, honestly, anytime someone asks me, I usually say, well, dress like you're gonna go see your grandma. You kind of want to look a little neat. Make sure you've like combed your hair, you smell good, you've showered. Another big thing is eat a good meal beforehand. You could be at the embassy for a few hours, if not more, depending on how busy it is. I had a friend recently who was there for 4 hours, from getting through security until they were done with their visa interview. So it can really depend how long it takes. So make sure you eat a good meal beforehand. If even if your interview is at like 8 a.m., just make sure you have a little bit of something so there's something in your stomach. Um, Being hungry and feeling hungry can really impact your answers or how you're feeling too, because you never know how your body's going to react. I get nauseous when I don't eat, so not a good mix. So if you're someone like that, just make sure you have something. You're not able to take food or anything inside with you either, which is why you want to eat before you go in. There usually is water fountains, but you can't take water bottles or anything inside either. So just be careful about that. I do see your question. I do see what you said in the chat, Nelson, so I'll get to it as we end because we're almost at the end of this session today. The day of your visa interview, the biggest thing to do is relax, be calm, be confident. Know what you're talking about, know why you want to come to the US, and it will be a lot easier for you. Visa interviews are typically 2 to 3 minutes in length, so they go by really fast. It's like the scariest time, and then before you know it, you're done, and you're like, wait, I didn't get to say much. Like, why is it done already? But know that visa interviews are typically just how long, like 2 to 3 minutes max. We've had students say some who said their interview was less than a minute. So it really depends. But remember to speak calm, be concise, and be confident. That's the biggest advice that I can give you. Okay, Spring 2026 orientation details. Attendance is mandatory. Orientation dates are Monday, January 5th through Friday, January 9th. You must arrive on or before January 4th in Mankato so that you're ready for orientation January 5th. Um, bright and early. First day to enter the US is actually December 6th, 2025. So even if you have your visa now, you're not able to enter the US until 30 days before your program start date. So the first day that you can enter the US is December 6th, 2025. So once you get your visa, kind of once you're looking for flights, kind of plan around this time. If you're looking for housing on campus, of course, make sure all of that's set in order. We will have a housing session as well. So we'll talk more about that here. We're very excited to meet you again. This is probably the hardest part about getting your I-20 and coming to the States, right? Is the visa interview process. But we're really hopeful that everything goes well and you guys are able to come here because we're so excited to meet you in person. You're only meeting me and Violet, but we have a whole team that's ready to see you and welcome you to our campus. And then some of our upcoming webinars, obviously, we're doing the October 6th one. Once you go to the calendar that we've sent out, or you go into the KIC portal to look at all of our webinars, you will see all of these dates that you can register for. You must register for each Zoom session or pre-arrival webinar. But again, you would also do stream on YouTube, but I feel like no, Zoom is a lot better. We also do upcoming like Instagram lives. Sometimes it's me and Violet, sometimes it's one of our students, sometimes it's some other staff members, but we are live on Instagram a few times before each session starts. And that one is more of an informal session. We don't have obviously any presentations, it's just us having a conversation. We find that some students find that a lot more comfortable and they ask a lot more questions there. So these are some of our dates that we will have our Instagram lives on. More information is on your spring arrival 2026 calendar. This is what it looks like. And all of the links that you see are hyperlinked. So any session that you see, or like if you want to do the finding housing, if you click on it, it'll open a registration for you. But everything's been emailed to you, again, to your personal email, as well as your student email, which is where you got your I-20, you got the email that your I-20 is ready. So look in either or. If you're like, I actually did not get anything, email us at international@mnsu.edu and we can kind of make sure and double check why that is and get you into the email chain. Thank you for that, Violet. Okay, Nelson said, I was denied once for my visa interview. The visa officer I had did not ask a lot of questions, nor follow-up questions, just one or two. So I had an idea that in my next interview, I will have to prove that he's capable of paying by showing my bank statement. So is it advisable for you to show your bank statement while talking about your sponsor, even though your VO has not asked for it, just to prove? What I would do, again, any of our pre-arrival sessions that we do, it's more advice that we're giving. And kind of this is just something that we formulated over the years of, hey, we found that this advice has really helped students. So ultimately, at the end of the day, at the visa interview, if you decide to show the bank statement before, that's up to you. But what honestly I would do if I was in your shoes is, as I'm explaining that like my dad's my sponsor, he earns this amount of money, and I also have the bank statements to show for it if you want me to show it to you. I would kind of frame it that way. So then you're leaving it open-ended to where if the visa officer is like, actually, let me see it, they will. Or if they want to rush through it, they might not even ask for it. But kind of putting a sentence in there that says, I have the bank statements with me if you want to see it, that would be helpful, I think. Violet, what about you? What do you think?
I was going to say pretty much exactly what you did. You could let them know that you have that with you, but I think being maybe over eager to like shuffle through your papers and like hand it to them might not give off a confidence that you want to. So yeah, you could maybe let them know that they have that and they can see that if they want to. And then, they're in charge, so they're gonna take it from there.
Yep. Thank you. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen for now. Are there any other questions on YouTube, Violet?
There are. So, let me see here. We have a commenter that said, "My brother is my sponsor and he's a US citizen. How do I convince the visa officer so that they don't think I won't return home after my undergraduate?"
That's a little bit tricky, for sure, especially if you already have family member here. Um, but I think the biggest, at least again, I'm thinking about it like if I was in their shoe, what would I do? If I was in their shoe, I would honestly try and divert the conversation to you. You're the one there for your visa interview. You're the one that wants to come to the US to study. And yes, your brother is here, which might be helpful, right? Because you have a family member here. That's always helpful, especially because you have someone that can take care of you. I think reiterating that you want to go to this specific university because you want to study and get a degree, because you want to better your future, right? Because, yeah, you have your brother here, but your brother's life and your life are not the same. You're both on your own paths. So, kind of focusing your answer to be like, yeah, he's there, but here's why I want to go to the US for
And here's
myself.
why I'm planning to return to my home country. And yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
I want to be real confident in that.
And unfortunately, sometimes it might not even get to that. It really depends on the visa officer too.
Yeah.
So we're gonna cross our fingers and hope that everything goes smoothly for you. But yeah, just focusing on bringing that attention back to you, I think is what I would do. Martha said, I am still waiting for my reply on my I-20 request. Is it late? So our I-20 request deadline was actually October 1st. So if you had submitted an I-20 request before that deadline, before October 1st, and you haven't received it, you must have most likely received a clarification request that went to your student email account. So if you've missed that email and you didn't send us the clarification that we needed, you would need to defer to fall 2026. Because anytime you guys submit an I-20 request and we get it, and we're like, I think we need more clarification on something you submitted, we send you an email and that goes to our student email, which is why we always reiterate how important checking your email is. I'd honestly recommend checking your email at least once a day.
Okay, she said I sent the clarification. So hopefully again just keep an eye on your school email. Um and our document processor will send any more questions that they have through there. And yeah,
Anything on
so
YouTube?
we have one more. Let's see. This is the student who mentioned that their sponsor is a US company. They're an undergrad. They said, "My sponsor promised to sponsor my education if I pass my national exam grade 12. So if I provide this explanation, is it better?"
Um, I think my question to that is, are they just being generous? Or is there an expectation that after you get your degree, you're going to be working for him in your home country? I am kind of curious because I get where you're coming from. Unless they're very generous, then you can say that, I guess. I think the most
Yeah.
important thing is being honest.
Hmm.
Because I'm more thinking like, yeah, they're a family friend and they want to pay for your education. So
The
what's the
why. What
catch?
do they get out of it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. What are they getting out of it?
So really try and put yourself in the shoes of the person that will be interviewing you, as you kind of think and sit down and figure out,
Hmm.
why you're doing this and how you're going to prove your ties to your home country and everything. So,
Yeah. Because, like we said before, your visa officer is going to go into it thinking that you are not going to return home. So, your job is to convince them you are,
prove them
because that's
otherwise.
exactly what your visa is for. It's a non-immigrant visa. You're not
Yep.
allowed to overstay your visa. You're just here to study. And again, we did share the visa prep session link earlier. Um, those are free sessions. However, if you sign up for a session 3 times in a row and you do not show up for all three, you will no longer be able to get free visa prep sessions. So that's why I've been saying since earlier is if you're going to sign up for something, please show up for it.
Yeah. And that's pretty generous, You get 3 tries. You're just be mindful of, somebody else is taking time out of their day to make sure that they can come and help you for free. So, yeah, just make sure it's in your calendar, set an alarm, do whatever you have to do to remember this is my time to come and work on this.
Yeah. And if something comes up during that time that you cannot, get out of, family, a requirement, something like that, just shoot us an email and say, hey, I had signed up for it, but I can't make it. I'm sorry. And that's totally fine. We'll go ahead and, get that off of our students' calendar so they're not waking up at like 7 a.m. to set up for the session. So
Yeah,
call a
this is
student who
really good
love their
practice
sleep.
for, yeah, good practice for university. You're going to have to be really good at staying on top of your schedule and remembering when you have certain things on your
Yeah.
to-do list.
And once you guys are
Yeah,
here, you'll understand the college students love their sleep. We don't want to bug them at 7:30 in the morning. All right. If there's not any more questions, honestly, I thought this would be a shorter session, but you guys had so many great questions that we're almost at time. That's pretty good.
yeah.
How many
And those
students
of
do you
you,
have on YouTube?
let me see here. For those of you that are on Zoom, I just shared the visa prep session booking link. We have 5 people on YouTube. I will share that there as well. And then somebody else on YouTube. Okay, this is the person that asked the last question as well. They just said home tie evidence. We talked about that earlier in the slideshow, so I would go back and watch that section again. This recording will be available on our YouTube channel under the streams section, which has, or sorry, the live section, which will show all of our previous webinars.
Yep, as soon as we end this session on our Zoom, um, the recorded session automatically gets put into our YouTube channel. So yeah, like Violet said, go to the live section. It's going to be there maybe a minute or two after we're done with our session, and you can rewatch it as many times as you want. Um, but we will have a couple more visa prep sessions as well. So if you're watching those and you're like, oh, I really want to ask PJ and Violet this question, you can come back to that session and ask that question as well. But we don't have that many. I think we have 2 coming up.
And I
Alrighty.
did just share that link for that visa prep session thing on YouTube as well. So um, that's a great place to go to kind of start working on that home ties evidence, etc. So yeah,
Yep. All right. Thank you so much for joining us today. I sound like a YouTuber. Thank you so much for coming to our channel.
like and
I'm sorry.
subscribe.
Like and
Don't forget to thumbs
subscribe.
up.
Our Instagram, honestly, I almost forgot to talk about our social media. What am I doing?
Oh, well,
Um, our Instagram is KICMNSU. Again, that's where we're gonna go live. I just put it in the Zoom chat, but our Instagram is KICMNSU. We post a lot of student live content as well that I think you can really use some for your answers. You can talk about how engaged students are here on campus. You can talk about what students are doing. Our
mhm.
Instagram is a really good place for that. So go to our Instagram, follow us. We love having you on our following us. And when we go live too, it'll notify you as well, which is great. You can like turn on our notification bell. You can also DM us on Instagram. But again, the best place to reach me and Violet is via email. But we do try to respond to our DMs. Well, as student workers or me try to respond to our DMs as quickly as we're able to. But our Instagram is a really good place as well to follow and kind of just check out what we have going on. We have a lot going on campus all the time. And I think you can use some of that for your answers as well.
Definitely.
Okay. Well, Have a great day. Thank you, Nelson. Nelson said thank you for your time. Appreciate it, Nelson. And thank you to everyone else that are here today. But we will see you guys in our next one.